Afternoon, my fellow renters. Today we are reviewing Liberty Property Management. Now, this is a kind of an issue that we're living through as right now, continue to live through, and we're going to show you some examples of their honesty and integrity and what they feel is the proper state a house should be in order to rent it out, what's acceptable to rent it out. Now, probably the most mild issue that we come across, and it's not just here, it's throughout the entire house. Apparently a blindfolded 5-year-old came in and did all the painting. Now, it's not a big issue, but it looks terrible. It's nothing to be proud of. It's fairly ugly. Another thing right out of the gate, all the wood flooring, it's separated, it's moldy, it's waterlogged, it's buckled, it's cracked, it's raised. And again, it's not just one little spot, it is throughout the entire house. Obviously, I'm not going to walk the circumference of the house, but there's plenty of spots where they didn't even finish the flooring. It was just cut and slapped in there, waterlogged, moldy. Again, it's not just one spot, it is all over the place. Now, one of the more gut-wrenching things we noticed was all of the mold everywhere. The house is covered in mold. It seems to mostly be around the windows. None of the windows are sealed. The water gets in when it rains. You can't keep the house hot or cold because all of our hot or cold air goes right out the windows. It's gotten so bad that it jumped right outside the window or inside the window all over the drapes. Now, this is extremely unacceptable. It's starting to cause some serious health issues for us. Having trouble breathing, waking up with headaches, issues that we didn't have prior to living here. And I'll show you guys some examples. Literally, it's everywhere, and it's not just a little bit of mold. It is caked on. It is plastered all over. Now, one of the real fishy things we noticed about this place, and it should have been a red flag, and I'll show you guys some more mold while I'm explaining it to you. In a nutshell, we were in kind of a tight spot. When we found the house, we've always lived in an apartment, so this was our first time renting a house. We're kind of excited. We saw this house and we jumped on it. It doesn't even have to be around window, it's even on furniture. You can see it just plastered everywhere. I mean, all of our stuff's ruined, won't be able to use it. But we were kind of in a tight spot. We saw the house, we inquired about it, found it was maintained by Liberty Property Management. We got a hold of them, and one of the kind of fishy things that they told us was we are not allowed to view the house. We're not allowed to view it. We have to put a deposit down or we're not going to get it and somebody else is going to get it. We didn't really think it was a huge deal at the time. Obviously, it's becoming a huge deal now, and we found out why we weren't allowed to see it before we rented it. But they said if we got to put a deposit, first month's rent, and if we move in, we don't like it, we can walk, but we lose all that money. Now, this mold, Liberty Property Management's known about it for about a month now, and they refused to do anything. They did send somebody out, and that's all they did was send somebody out. And every time I called back, every week or so for the past month, we'll give you a call back, let me look into it, I'll get back to you. I've never received a call back from it. This here is a busted window we got broken into. They busted out my daughter's window. And again, we called them out first thing. They came and took a look at it, that and the mold at the same time, and they said that they'll have to, get a quote together and do all kinds of stuff, get approved, go to the owner, go back and forth. Long story short, it's been about a month. We haven't heard anything back, and that's just the way that they treat people. Here's the bathroom here, just coated with mold everywhere, all over the walls. We've run into a couple contractors that said that they've done business with Liberty Property Management, but they just can't stand the way that they treat people. There's a lot of lives that are endangered, a lot of health that's in danger, and they can care less. Liberty Property Management, that is, all they care about is their money, and that's it. They will lag on this stuff as long as they possibly can. Here we're looking at a lot of the hinges on the kitchen cupboards. They're completely rusted out, missing nuts or missing screws. The cupboards just fall right off when you open them. Here's the kitchen window, just plastered with mold. We actually found a bunch of poop, a bunch of little turds underneath the oven and some of our hall closets upon move-in. first day when we moved in, we found some presents in there. Um, the spigots outside, when we turn those on, a bunch of rust comes out before the water's running. We're gonna have to get the water checked. The landscape was terrible. The grass was up to my knee when we moved in. It's just extremely unacceptable. And that's why we're here doing this review, hoping to save some of you guys the trouble and the heartache and the frustration, the finances, and trying to just ensure that people realize what these people are doing, the kind of scams they're doing. They prey on weaknesses, which is definitely where we got caught, being desperate for a living space, and they had that whole scam where you can't move in, you can't even view the house until you put your deposit and your first month's rent. And if you don't like the house when you see it, you lose all that money. Hope you guys can benefit from this and spread the word.